Welcome to the 8th grade Math Homework Helper Series. Tonight's homework is review order of operations. So for order of operations, you may remember the mnemonic device PEMDAS, or Please Excuse My Dear Aunt Sally. This was created to help you to remember the steps for the order of operations. The P equals parentheses, which is the first thing you should look for. The E equals exponents, the second thing you should look for. My dear is multiplication and or division as you move from left to right. Either one of these that occur, you do. And then lastly, Aunt Sally, you do addition and or subtraction from left to right in the order that they occur. All right, let's take a look at some problems and apply PEMDAS. So we have 64 divided by 4 times 3 divided by a half. So you have a lot going on here. We don't have any parentheses, we don't have any exponents, we do have multiplication and division, and as I work from left to right, the first thing that I encounter is a division. So we have 64 divided by 4. So I'm going to go ahead and solve that out. It gives me 16, and I'm just going to bring the rest of this problem right on down. And then I come back to the left, and I start working my way across. And the next thing I see is a multiplication problem, 16 times 3. And that gives me 48, and I just bring down the divide by 1/2. Now remember, when you divide by a half, you're actually multiplying by the reciprocal of the second fraction. So in this case, it's going to be 48 times not 1/2 but 2 over 1, and that is going to give us 96. For number 10, we have 2.2 times 3 minus 14.75. Thinking of PEMDAS, we don't have any parentheses, we don't have any exponents. We do have multiplication, so we'll get that done first. 2.2 times 3 gives us 6.6. I simply bring down the rest of the problem. Now, I want to point out that we have a smaller number at the beginning, and we're taking from that a larger number. So when we subtract, our answer is going to be a negative answer. We can go ahead and set this up as a typical subtraction problem where the larger number is on top, but we have to remember the answer that we get is going to be negative. We can go ahead and do that over here. Similar to yesterday's homework, we need to line up the decimals, and over here it's not important to fill 0 in, but it is right here. So we can go ahead and subtract, and we're going to get 8.15. And remember that it needs to be negative. So the answer is negative 8.15. For number 12, we don't have any parentheses, we don't have any exponents, we don't have any multiplication or division. It's all addition and subtraction. But you may notice that we have a couple of double signs here. We have double negatives and a negative and a positive. So the first thing we want to do before we start doing the addition or subtraction is to clear them out. So remembering the rules for negative numbers, 2 negatives is going to make a positive, and a positive and a negative is going to make a negative. So now we have 22 plus 8 minus 17 plus 6. And again, working from left to right, the first thing I encounter is addition, 22 plus 8. So that gives me 30. The rest of the problem I bring down. Coming back from left to right, the first thing I encounter is addition and subtraction, so I'm going to do it in the order it occurs. In this case, subtraction occurs first. 30 minus 17, and that's going to give me 13. Bring down the plus 6, and 13 plus 6 is going to give me 19. Okay, our last problem, we do have parentheses, so that's where we're going to start. And so inside the parentheses we have 26 minus 11, which gives me 15, and I'm going to bring the rest of the problem down. So I have 5 plus 1/2, I have the 15 now, and I have times 3. Now as I move from left to right, thinking of PEMDAS, I see that I have an implied multiplication between the 1/2 and the 15. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and that's going to give me 7.5. And then I'm going to bring down the 5, bring down the 3, and now I have a multiplication. I have a 7.5 times 3. The easiest way to do that is to turn this into an improper fraction. You do that by multiplying the denominator by the whole number and then add the numerator. So 2 times 7 is 14, plus 1 makes 15 over 2. So let's set that up over here. We have 15 over 2 times the 3, which I'm going to put over 1. And then I can go ahead and multiply. I can't cross anything out. 2 and 3 are lowest, and 15 and 1 are lowest. So 15 times 3 is 45. 2 times 1 is 2. And 45 divided by 2 is going to give you 22.5. So these become 22.5, and my plus 5 is still here. So now I have 5 plus 22.5, which works out to be 27.5. Please use the problems that were done for you tonight to help you to solve any additional problems that you have on your homework. And remember, the key to success in math is not only working hard, but working smart.